During my first near-death experience in 2004, when doctors diagnosed me with kidney failure and AIDS, and then gave me 7 days to live, I was in the hospital and there was a lot going on. There were a lot of tests that were being run. There were a lot of procedures that they were trying to do. And I had a rule during that time. And my young 24-year-old self had a rule during this time that whenever they got the test results back, whenever the doctors will come in and try to tell like what the test results or lab results are saying, what they thought the prognosis was for my situation. Like as every day, I was given 7 days to live initially, but as each day progressed, they'd run more tests and they'd come in with their, new prognosis or what they thought was going to happen to me or happen for me or how much time I had to live. And I had a rule, and that rule was that they didn't get to get to my hospital bed. They had to tell my mother, and my mother would tell me. So when they would come into the room, and they would, have their tablets or whatever, they would talk to her first. She would kind of be the filter at the door before they could come to me, or she would be the filter and they wouldn't be able to come to me. And she would relay the messages from them to me. And whether it was, this is what they think you need to do, or this is how they think you're getting better, or this is what they think you're not going to get better, or whatever that was. But particularly if it was something very drastic, or if it was something very hard that I knew it was going to be something very hard to hear, they would tell my mother first, and then they would tell me. And after, I healed and everything like that, after I healed from that, as you know, I'm still here. That was 18 plus years ago, 19 years ago now. But after I went through that experience, people would ask me, like, why did you have your mother be the filter like that? Why didn't you talk to the doctors? Why didn't you let the doctors talk to me? And they thought it was because my mother is a doctor herself. My mother is a physician. So they thought it was I wanted my mother to talk to them as a doctor and then come talk to me. But that's not why I did that. Why I did that is because I knew that whatever the doctors were going to say was either going to be scary, or it was going to be disappointing, or it was going to be very hard for me to hear. And I knew that if they told me that, it was going to come from a different space. And I needed to hear hard things from love. And I knew my mother loved me. And I knew that if she told me, it was going to come from love, and that the energy of love was going to be in that. And that no matter what it was, no matter what they had to say, that if it came from my mother, the person that loved me the most in the world, the person that wanted me to live almost more than I did, if it came from her, it was going to be wrapped in love. And if it came from love, I could handle it. That no matter what it was, if it came from the voice of love, I could handle it. And so I had a rule that only love could tell me hard things. That nothing else but love could tell me hard things. Now the doctors I didn't, try to tell them what they could do or anything like that, right? They had their plan and I didn't fight that plan. But they couldn't speak to me about their plan because they didn't love me. Only who loved me could tell me. And I look back on that now, understanding energy and frequency like I do. And because I did that, I fully believe that was a large part of why I healed. It was because my entire journey was wrapped in love. It was wrapped in the frequency of love. Even when it was something hard, even when it was something challenging, it was wrapped in the energy and the frequency of love. And that is the way I live my life today. that, if it's something hard that I need to hear, I only hear it from love. I only let love tell me. I have friends, I have family members that are designated to tell me hard things, or to take certain phone calls for me, or to speak to certain things when they're going to be hard. And then they relay it to me, and they relay the truth of it, but they relay it from love. And years later, as a matter of fact, a few years ago, I was seeing a chiropractor for the first time. I had never, seen a chiropractor. And I was going just for some things, for some help, for some things that were going on in my back. And before the chiropractor worked with me, he sat and he talked to me, and he asked me questions about who I was and about my life. And he told me things about him and his kids and his life and how he got to where he was. And I was, I commented and I said, I've never had anything like this. Like, there's never been some healthcare practitioner who really talked to me like this before, and really shared a lot like this before. And he said to me, and I will never forget this, he said, because I need to love you. I need to get to a place where I love you before I work with you. And he looked me in my eyes, and he got very close to me, and he said, only let people who love you touch you. If they don't love you, they don't get to touch you. And it just reminded me of that experience that I had in the hospital during my first near-death experience, where my mom was my filter, and she told me the hard news. She told me all the news, even the good news that was happening, because there was some good news that was happening in the hospital as time went by, as obviously I lived past 7 days. But it really taught me that I only let love tell me hard things, and I only let people who love me touch me, especially in my healing journeys and practices. I work with, healthcare practitioners or alternative people or whatever who love me, where I feel loved by them. And this is something I really share with people, all the people that I know, and especially all my clients. I talk about this, like, in your healing journey, your healing team, your support team for your healing. Only let people who love you touch you, and have people in that healing team, one, who love you and who really care about you, and have a designated person that really loves you, and you know it and you feel it. Have that person be the person who tells you hard things. So I just wanted to come on here and share that with you. Hopefully this be of some guidance and some help on your own journey, or in your life, even if you're not experiencing some health challenge. This applies to your whole life. Until next time, I love you. Now go love yourselves. Bye.